Boom, we're back in session. So we're back here with part 2 of our interview here with J-ClaWsin and
J-ClaWsin.
J-ClaWsin.
RCThaHazard.
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 So,
yeah,
you guys are with the Hazmat crew. Why don't we mentioned it a couple times and we can get a rough idea. It's a collective of musicians, but what's the Hazmat crew really all about, and who are you guys?
it's a crew.
Started Hazmat. You go first.
It's a group. I've like been kind of somewhat. I've been messing around with a lot of groups and a lot of rhyme partners my whole life, but I've been doing my own thing most of the time too. So eventually came a time where, okay, I'm starting to do a lot of music and shows, and I'm eventually gonna need some merchandise and a group and stuff like that. So I figured I need a name brand. I need a name brand to back up my stage name and what I'm doing and what represents me. So I talked to a good friend of mine. His name is Dex. He's part of Hazmat as well. He's like more or less a battle representative, and he suggested. He said your name is RCThaHazard, so like Hazmat makes perfect sense as a group name or a name brand. So I was like, you're right. I ran with it. So since then, and it also describes us as characters, in a good sense as well, because we're crazy. Like stuff is gonna get messed. Like if you cross our path, stuff is gonna get messed up. Like we are hazards. Once you meet us, once you know our personalities, like we are hazards.
Well, we're usually pretty chill in person, right? But it's like I said, it's more or less when we're on stage that you see how crazy we are, right? So
there's a natural intensity that comes out of the characters that you guys have created.
100% natural intensity.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
And how much would you say there is you guys in the character, and what sort of separation do you find?
I don't think it's separate at all.
I think, well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I was just about to say that I don't think it's really separate as much as it is just exaggerated.
The
right?
only thing that, yeah, exactly, like you said,
it's just we take certain parts and then we just expand it and blow it up to make it more crazy, right? So
the only way I feel it's separated is because usually, the stage is our strength, the stage is our stepping stone place. That's where we have our strength. So a lot of the times our energy is reserved when you talk to us one-on-one, just as a normal human being, versus when you see us on stage or a couple minutes before our show. We'll be the same person, but we'll be like intensified times like 100 maybe, just for 20 minutes or so.
And so, for someone who's never seen your guys' live show, other than intense, how would you guys describe yourself?
Theatrical, high energy, captivating.
Acting involved, because like I said, we want to put on a show.
And I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything, but just this comes from other people's opinions too. Like, yeah, captivating, visually appealing, theatrical, entertaining, amusing. Those are just all
involved, because you're trying to get the audience involved too, right?
That's the most important part. Nobody wants to see a bunch of people mumble rappers.
Exactly.
I've seen a lot of concerts in my lifetime, and I always get really mad when it's hip hop artists or any genre for that, like just standing there and just singing the lyrics, but not really
just standing there playing guitar.
Not connecting with the audience, man. Like you have to connect with the audience. That's the most important thing, and that's what's gonna make people remember you, and that's what's gonna make your fan base grow. You have to connect with the audience, man. I can't stress how important that is. And that's where, that's where we feel we kind of have advantage, because we always make sure that the people in the room are enjoying the time just as much as we are. It's an energy toss, we're throwing our energies back and forth, and it's super, super, super important to us that the people
enjoy themselves,
that are enjoying what the service we're trying to provide.
Take your role as an entertainer seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, when like I said, we're trying to, there's a lot of negative stuff in the world, and we're trying to bring something positive to it. But like I said, you know, with our live show, we want people to just have a positive atmosphere where everybody's together, you know, regardless of their differences, you know, we're all having a good time, right? And so that's the basis.
Another word that I forgot to mention is choreographed. Even if it's not planned, just from
not
our
a boy
chemistries,
band, though, not a boy band.
just from our chemistries, it usually ends up being us doing the same thing at the same time anyways. Even if we do rehearse it and we do plan a lot of our movements, but a lot of the times we will end up doing the same thing anyways, unrehearsed and unplanned. And you know, it's just a chemistry thing, whatever.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of people will say about us, is like I said, our chemistry on stage. Like, because I remember having one person come up to me and tell me, he's like, you know, I see other rappers and other groups, and they're always trying to fight for the limelight. They're trying to fight for the spotlight while they're on stage. But when we're on stage, it's like, there's none of that. It's like, the show is almost incomplete. I mean, we can rock solo stuff, you know, but it's almost like, you know, it sort of complements each other, right? We're not trying to fight for the spotlight, so we work together to make sure that it's just an entertaining show and everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to be the most important part to you guys' success. And you know what? You guys have been seeing a little bit more success lately, and you know, that's how you guys get those shows where you can get those feedback. And what would you say would be the defining step that changed you guys from, you know, just making music to taking this seriously, you know? What made the Hazmat crew become such a big thing where, you know, I've seen you guys have a lot of people backing you guys right now. You guys are building a lot of hype.
Thanks.
What brought that upon you guys?
Let's see, the defining step. Well, you know, that's a hard question to answer because I don't feel like it was one moment or step. It's been kind of a gradual process. It's been little bit by little bit over time, us figuring out what to do and figuring out how to strategize properly. And like I said, it can't just happen overnight. It's just learning bit by bit, day by day, and until you know, it just keeps going. Like I can't put it in. I don't really know any other way to put it other than, yeah, it's not an overnight thing. It's just a gradual process.
Yeah, like, I mean, same for me. Like, it's always been like a gradual process. I mean, like, it's always been gradual because, like I said, I started when I was 13, right? So, but then there were a few moments, there were a bunch of those moments that happened that kind of kept pushing me to be like, okay, like, this is where, you know, this is what I want to do in my life, and I want to, you know, affect other people's lives with it. You know what I mean? I think a big one for me, though, is when I was 14 and I'd been putting out music on YouTube, and I had one song that it was actually had a buzz around it, and it had a couple thousand views on YouTube, and so, you know, that was like the biggest thing for me at 14, because I was still having fun with it. But to get a couple thousand views on something, you know what I mean, like, it was cool. And so I had a guy that actually messaged me directly on YouTube, and he'd said that, you know, like, he was going through a lot, and he was dealing with depression and stuff, and he was considering suicide. But he told me that when he had heard one of my songs, I'm not going to name the song because it's hella old, and I was young, and I sounded like I was, you know, 10 years old, so I don't want to embarrass myself. But, you know, he said when he heard this particular song, you know, the lyrics were so inspiring that, like, he actually changed his mind on suicide and shifted his thoughts away from doing that. And he told me that. And, you know, when I was reading that, you know, it really affected me because it was like I was listening to hip-hop since I was really young because it helped me get through certain things in life and, you know, deal with certain traumas and things that I went through. So it was like to have it, you know, for me to do the same thing that hip-hop did for me when I was younger, for it to do something for somebody else, that's what pushed me to the point where I was like, okay, now I want to, you know, affect as many people as I can with this, whether I'm making them laugh and I'm being a jokester and a comedian, or I'm saying something that's real and positive, and, you know, that you know, people feel like they can relate to it. And then, you know, that's when I was like, okay, you know, let's do this, you know. And then it was like along the way, then I had other moments that pushed me to the point where I was like, okay, now how do I make money off of this? You know, make money off of it, not just selfishly because I want to pay my bills, but, you know, to where I can, you know, turn it into a business so that I can progress to get my music to a more mass audience and affect as much people as I can, you know. And that's what kind of started, you know, J-ClaWsin, you know, being ready to dig his claws in, right? So it was a gradual process, but there were definitely a lot of key moments that pushed me to that. So
it sounds like between the inspirational moments you've been able to have together and the inspirational moments you've been able to give with other people, you guys have hit some stuff that people can only dream of in their career, and you guys are just beginning. That's pretty freaking awesome. It's kind of exciting, actually.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So outside of music, there's obviously probably some major hobbies or inspirations, some things that kind of help draw you guys towards what you guys are doing today. What outside of music kind of fuels your guys' passion?
I mean, I don't know about him, but for me specifically, I was really into the art of filmmaking as a kid, and like I was always comic books. Yeah, comic books was a big thing. Actually, at one point, I wanted to be a comic book writer, and I actually created a story and a script for like the superhero I created, and it was the idea of a homeless superhero, and then Hancock came out, which he was a homeless superhero, I think. So then that crushed my dreams, right? So
you still have that movie didn't do so well. You still have it.
I mean, maybe
you can crush it.
Maybe, you know. But then I was also into the art of filmmaking as well, and making movies. And I actually had like a camcorder that I got when I was a kid. That I made some home movies with some friends, and I got pretty good with the video editing stuff, and we made some stuff that it got a little bit of popularity, with the community, but never really went anywhere, or affected me as emotionally and passionately as music and rap did. So, but like I said, I'm still into comic books to this day, man. I still have my collection, and it's still growing. Big into Deadpool right now, Punisher. I think those are my two favorites. So, but this guy's always cooking shit up in the kitchen, and I don't mean crack, but this guy, he's in the...
Yeah, no, I love to cook. I love to cook, especially chicken wing and chicken wing sauces. So one of my main hobbies other than music is, and that's a hard question because I almost focus all my time on music, but yeah, one thing is I love to just eat junk food and watch TV or watch movies and just veg out on the couch. Like, that's my relax time. Other than that, like, I still consider it part of music, but I also do really enjoy like spending my time doing documentary type stuff, interviewing people, kind of like the same thing you're doing, and just getting people's insights on the culture and stuff like that, and on music.
Building hype and involving yourself through bouncing yourself off other
ideas. Well, yeah, like I don't know if I told you, but we're working on a documentary right now, and it's on not local hip-hop, but hip-hop as a whole, and the culture and the elements, and it's just about learning about the music and art.
Wow, actually I had no clue you were working on this. Has this been something that's been going on for the last couple of years, I guess?
About the past year and a half, although we did do one in 2013. It was called 100 MCs, where we interviewed 100 local artists and 100 of our friends just who were doing kind of the same shows and kind of around the same scene, around the same people in music. And then 4 or 5 years later, I decided it's time for a sequel to this, where we could do more than just MCs, and we could get DJs, b-boys, scrap writers, battlers, producers, people that are into mixing and mastering, journalists like yourself, like everything. And yeah, that's it. The main goal and the main focus is just to get people to learn about the art and culture, and that's it.
You're building the hype about the whole scene as a whole. That's amazing. I'm personally hyped to see this myself.
Oh, for sure.
You guys have an ETA?
Yeah, late summer. Late summer it will be ready. We're just at the tail end of shooting it, and we start editing it very soon.
Shout out to Tyro James, who's the other main guy working on that.
That's right.
Yeah, but like I said, I've been watching, him, like I said, hustle and get all these people, it's crazy to get 100 different people into one documentary. I've been watching him do it, and it's crazy the people that he's gotten on there. You definitely will learn a lot, watching this documentary. He's also doing a soundtrack for it as well, the 100 More soundtrack, where we're getting 100 different artists on one project. So not 100 songs, but 100 artists
yeah,
on one project.
All on my beats. So needless to say, we got a lot a lot of stuff coming out. We do. You were talking about our Hazmat group. Like I said, there's about 10 of us, and about either late this year or early next year, we will have our third Hazmatmusic project, our Hazmat Crew project ready.
And so what is the Hazmat Crew project?
Hazmat Crew, you look at it like a white Wu-Tang, man. It's just it's a big group of friends, just like he was saying earlier, it's a big collective, and we all just put our heads together, and we just make a group effort of a project, and there's usually about 4 to 5 to 6 people on each track. There will be a couple less on some tracks and a couple more on some tracks, but it's a huge group effort, like I said, and that's what Hazmat is. There's about 4 frontmen, that would be me, him, Shua, and Vicious, and then other than that, we do have like a lot of other producer friends and kind of hype man friends and artists, just like people that are, you know,
part of the team, part of the family, but not in the limelight. Not in the limelight, but they definitely do contribute a lot.
Exactly, part of the team, but not wanting to be in the public face as much as the 4 people I just named: me, him, and our buddy in Seattle, Shua, and Vicious 5150.
Excellent. And so on top of, so you have a Hazmat Crew. Release coming out.
Well, that just, you know, we can't say too much about that now because we only got about 3 or 4 tracks started for it, and that's, you know, that's kind of
we're taking our time with that.
That's at the back of the line in terms of priority, but what we're really focusing on right now is our duo project, the 386 tape, because that's all my beats, all his artwork, live instruments on it. A lot of the songs we're always performing are on there. We're bringing our performance energy straight into a audio, and, you know, it's the best of both worlds now.
Excellent. Well, thank you two so much for joining. You guys have had so many great stories and very inspirational. The do-it-yourself aspect that you guys are doing.
Thanks for having us.
Do you guys have any final words for your guys' audience in mind?
Absolutely.
I mean, for me, I just, you know, a couple things is whatever it is, you know, you want to do in your life, not just music, but whatever it is you feel like your passion and your contribution to society is, you know, don't let anybody knock you off of that. If you think you have the skill set for it, you know, sharpen those tools of yours, and, you know, you got to put your mind and your work ethic into it, you know what I mean? So whatever it is you want to do in your life, you got to have the mind, the heart, and the work ethic. You have those 3 things, you know, you're laughing, you know, and, you know, you also have to have determination. You also have to have the determination too. You have to be stubborn with it as well, right? You know, so, you know, that's all I want to say. I want to say thank you to anybody that supported us and supporting Hazmatmusic. You know, I want to thank anybody who supported me personally, my family, and I want to make a quick shout out to my day ones, Maxwell, aka Picasso, Malcolm, and Samson Brown. Those are the guys I started rapping with in the very first group I was ever in, and those are still my homies to this day, so shout out to those guys.
For me, I would have to say, you know, to any aspiring artists out there, if you want something bad enough, you will get it. If you want it bad enough, you'll get it. And on top of that, don't have the mentality of, I'll just do it tomorrow, because that will ruin you. If you're going to do it tomorrow, do it right now, and you'll be glad you did.
Exactly. You know, you want to tell yourself, oh, I'll do it later, but later never comes. So
that's what I say. That's what I say. I have a huge, like, massive love for the people that are, you know, that have the crazy motivation, crazy work ethic, and for the people that just grind 24/7.
Shout out to this guy right here. Shout out to the Infidel Netwerk. You know, thank you so much for having us. It's been a pleasure. These questions were great.
Thanks a lot,
Good time
man.
talking.
386 date, May 7th.
386 RCThaHazard and J-ClaWsin, and you can also check out other music of ours on iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere else.
Don't miss it, folks. Thank you for attending this latest and greatest episode. See you all again on the flip side.
Okay, peace.
Peace.